It's time to hold on to something solid that can't be taken away, that's going to protect you and your family through the financial storm. The system is rigged. It's not set up in your favour, it's set up to benefit the elite. And through the school system, you are kept in the dark and on the treadmill. Well, enough's enough. Today is the day to take back control and protect your family's financial future. Visit goldbusters.co.uk and let us help you today.
Well, hi guys. I've had to draw the curtains behind me because it's a really sunny day here.
Oh yeah, right.
No. Oh yes, of course you're in snow in England. Yeah, I've heard.
That's it.
Jack Kidd sent me some beautiful pictures of northern Scotland, which you expected up there, but I've seen it from the north of England. I've seen it over quite a bit of the UK. Yeah, interesting. And I tell you, the interesting thing is when it snows, and this is a little lesson to everybody out there. Very often when it snows, it brings down pylons. When it brings down pylons, what that means is you don't get any electric. So if you've got an electric car, number one, it can't get out in the snow. Number two, it's flat. So just a little thought process there, because there are many, many pylons in the UK that do get affected still by snow. So use a little bit of common sense as to how you look after yourself. But anyway, enough of that. Yes, it's a beautiful day here in Dubai, and I know it's a little bit chilly in the UK, but what we're trying to do is inform people in a way that's we've learned from our mistakes, and I can speak on behalf of Simon and myself where we have been in a difficult place in our lives at certain times, and we've relied on liquidating gold and silver, which is what Adam and James have guided us to do, to have a little bit there. Now, one of my travels all over America, the people of America, the audience, have been very, very generous. And this is one silver coin that's a 1 ounce silver coin, and it's the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening.
Love it.
And it's absolutely, God bless America. And some of the gifts I've been given have been absolutely, now that's only just 1 ounce of silver. It's about 25 euros, 25 bucks, something like that. Not a lot of money. And I get gifted that. And I was also gifted another one, which is very special, which is about 50 bucks. And this one is bigger, the truth. And it says, the truth fears no questions. And this is a special General Flynn coin.
Nice. Oh, is it? Yeah, I quite see, but brilliant. Oh, yeah, I can see it now. Yeah. Brilliant.
And I was gifted both of those, and they're both sterling silver, or they're both 0.999 silver. So they're now, I want to put this into perspective. With those two coins, there's 75 bucks, 75 euros. Now, I could comfortably feed myself for 7 days with those if I had to. If I had to. And this is what I want to get across to the audience. There's people like, oh, Charlie, it's all right for you, but I've got no money. And I'll tell you right now that if you actually do a little bit of foresight, a little bit of planning, once you get your first coin and your second coin, you start with £25, €25, $25, whatever it is. You start somewhere. And then you realize you can actually extend the period of time that you can look after yourself.
Yeah.
And I want to bring it back to reality. That yes, I want to hang on to those coins. Of course I do. But if the time comes, Simon knows and I know from bitter experience in the last few months that because of the way the banks are, they shut us down. and we suddenly had to feed ourselves and our family. But you cut your cloth accordingly. So I think it's very important that we start at a level that everybody can start at.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's it.
Do something. Everybody can everybody can get involved and get started at least, and you'd be surprised what you can do.
It's exactly like you said, Charlie. Like insurance, you hope you never have to use it, but if you do, it's there, and you know it'll cover you. And that's how we see metals. We hope we never have to sell them. We can just, you know, they can just sit in a dark room in the vault or wherever, and we never do anything with them. But if we need them, then they're there.
It gives you so much peace of mind having them. It gives you so much peace of mind. You feel so much more protected, don't you? I mean, we feel much safer having them. It's
a safety net that we have, and what people don't realise, forget the monetary value. The mental value of knowing that you can look after yourself, you can't put a price on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's life changing for us, you know, when we got that, when the penny dropped, wasn't it, Adam? When the penny dropped, you know, and that's why we went down this route and said, look, this is the best way to help people. For us personally, we just thought this is a really great way of helping people.
I think it's that, like you said, that feeling as well. Once we felt that for ourselves, we wanted to share that confidence that we have, that we're outside the system, and that we, if things do get shut down, or we don't know exactly what's going to happen, and less know exactly when it's going to happen, but we know that we've got several bases covered.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what it's about for us.
I think, and that's all we do, is just share that information, isn't it? Again, in every video, as we always say, we'll never advise you. We don't believe in advice anyway. We just don't do it. It's not in our DNA. We'll just show you what we do. Everything we show you, we do. So we're not just making it up. It's not just, you know, hearsay. It's us doing it. And this is, look, you either take it or leave it. We're not salesmen, as you can see too, are we? We're not salesmen. We're not here to sell you anything. No. We've never been financial advisors, but we just care, don't we? All four of us do. We just care. We want to get this message
out
to as many people as possible.
You're not just talking about doing it. You've actually done it.
Yeah. And I think we always say as well, look, whatever you do, because there's many different ways you can protect yourself, just do it with your eyes open. And that's, if we can be part of that journey of opening your eyes and showing you our experience, then job done for us. And that's kind of what we want to show you today, something that we actually didn't think was an option for people, and we not ruled it out, but we put it on the shelf a little bit. And it was we call it the Charlie challenge, when you said, look, in the last 3 years, what could we what could my cash compared to metals do with switching? We look at that and think, actually, this is creating even more opportunities for people. So are we all right to share my screen and kind of go from there?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing, I guess, just to say is that there are a lot of threats to people's personal economy. And that's what it's all about for us, is protecting your personal economy. And we know there's things like bank bail-ins, where the creditors of a financial institution, if the bank come in under financial difficulty, or the financial institution, then the creditors of that financial institution bail that institution out. That's something that's very real, and it's very favoured politically, because the country, the government don't have to bail that bank out. It can be done kind of hush hush to one side, and it doesn't make big news. Bailouts are the other version of that, where the government do bail banks out. These are all threats, we think, to our personal economy. Central bank digital currencies, again, it's a threat to your personal economy. And we just want to say that those things are out there, and I'm sure people are aware of those. Another thing that's a threat is compliance. We saw with the truckers in Canada, if you're not compliant with the system, then your personal financial economy it's a threat. And it's something that we really don't like. We don't like these threats. A big part of that is people's pensions. And these things filter into people's pensions that they're going to rely on for possibly 20 years. You have to fund possibly 20 years of retirement at an age where you either don't want to work or maybe you can't work. So it's something that people really, really worry about, rightly so in our eyes. Now, for people inside the US, there is a really easy option. There is a hi, Freddie.
Hello, Freddie.
Yeah, for people inside the US, there's a really easy and simple option where you can have your handheld and you can move your IRA 401k into metals. It's seamless and it's really easy. So we're happy with that. And if you want to do that, get in contact with us. We'll help you. Outside the US, we found it really difficult. We're going to be honest. We found one option, but it's not a great option. And that's why we've not promoted it, because we don't think it's good for people. If anyone's asked us and said, look, is there a way? We've said, yes, this is possible, but be aware of these restrictions. You can only buy gold. You can only do this. You can't do this. And it's not been great. But we think we've come up with an option that might be good for some people. And it's not for us to say whether you should do this or not. We just want to give you the option. So let me share this. We've had quite a few people say, I've got my retirement, my pension with a institution, and I'm just going to take it out. And I know I'm going to be taxed 40% to do that. But I'd rather be in control of what's left than leave the 100% that's out of my control. We said, wow, that's a big chunk to take, to take the hit on. And why we've not really said, oh yeah, great, just everyone take your pension out, because 40% is a big chunk. You need to really be careful when you're doing that. However, we think there's a way that people can actually make that money back and even more. So it puts them in control and gives them a better financial future. So
it was just sorry, just to add to that, Adam.
Yeah,
it was just something we never looked at before, because we just thought it's going to take too long to get back to where you were. The cards were off the table completely, but because of what we're able to do now, it's possible that the cards could be back on the table, and it's just another option for people that we didn't think we had before, that we didn't have before. Simple as that. But it's just an option that it just wouldn't be fair if we didn't share this with you, with people. It wouldn't be fair if we didn't share it. So
can I just ask a question? This may be a dumb question.
Go for it.
But I'm a resident in Dubai. So it means that I am tax-free. What would happen if a UK citizen, like I am, who has a pension fund in the UK, became a Dubai resident? They would no longer be subject, with their pension, to UK taxes. I'm just asking the question at the moment because I don't know the answer. I know from a business point of view that any money I make in the UK, because I'm a Dubai resident, is not subject to any form of taxation in the UK. Because, yes, I'm a UK citizen on a British passport, but I am a Dubai resident. This may be something we could look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, possibly.
It's something worth looking at, that, isn't it? Without a doubt. I
think the distinction you've made there is really important as well, is that you can be a UK citizen, but not a UK taxpayer.
Correct.
And those two things can, for most people that live in the UK, they're born in the UK, they're a UK resident and they're a UK taxpayer, and those two things go together. And look, just so you know, this is a complex topic. We're no experts in it, but you raise a good point. If you become a citizen of another country, then
no, I'm still a citizen of the UK. I'm just a resident in Dubai, which makes me tax.
Yep. So a resident, you could still be a UK taxpayer, or you could also not be a UK taxpayer. So those two things can, it can be fluid, and it depends where you spend your time. And there's different rules in different countries. So, but definitely something worth looking at. for sure.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it recently, Adam, haven't we? So we've discussed it a lot behind the scenes recently.
There's definitely options out there. In this scenario, I guess we're looking at the worst case. People that they're staying where they are, we're taking 40%, which is usually the highest amount that people would pay, just to see what's possible. Let's just throw it out there. So let's imagine that people have £150,000 of pension value, of retirement value. Some people have more, some people have less. We'll start with that figure. If you're taxed at 40%, you give up £60,000 just to the government to have access to your money, which is absolutely infuriating. That
will probably go into the government pension funds for all the politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I mean, sorry, it's actually criminal because
Yeah.
people pay tax when you work.
Yeah.
You then put money into a pension, which you pay tax on, and then they tax it again. So,
and then when you buy things, you pay VAT again, and then when you want to leave it to your family, you pay tax again.
What is the point in working? You might as well not work and go and have social security and live off the dole.
Which is why there's so many people doing that.
Why would anybody willingly give 40% to somebody that doesn't do anything for them? Look, let's say, for instance, I'm going to go and dig a garden for somebody, right? And we say that's going to be, we'll pay you £500 to dig my garden. So I start to dig the garden, and some man that I've never even seen before walks up to me and says, "Oh, but I'm going to take 20% of the money that he's just paid you." And I said, "Well, I don't know who you are, and I've got no contractual arrangement with you.
And you didn't dig the garden. He was doing the work.
Exactly,
you haven't digged the garden.
He'll take it off you. That's what we're living in, and I mean that's horrendous. Like, I'm sick of it all. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah,
thank you.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. And this is why, because it was such a big amount, this is why we didn't look at it as a viable option, because who wants to lose 40%? Really? Well, let's play it out and see. Some people still might not want to, but some people it may be an option. So let's see. So you're taxed at 40%. So you have 90,000 left over, which is, very, very sobering experience. So here's where we're going to just kind of through a small amount of maths. So please don't switch off if you kind of, you don't like maths, but it's important to know this. You don't have to, you would think, well, I just have to gain 40% back. It's not actually 40%. It's 60,000 that you need to gain back, but that's not 40%, and we'll show you why. So you start with 150. 40% of 150 is 60,000. Okay, so you have to get back 60,000, but your new starting point is 90,000, and 40% of 90,000 is not 60,000. Okay, so what you're looking at is you need to get 60,000 from 90,000. And that means your 90,000 needs to grow by 66% to get back to 150.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put it one other way, and not to confuse people, just to give you a contrast. If you have 100,000 and you lose 50%, you're down to 50,000. Your 50,000 needs to make 100% to get back to where you were.
Yeah.
And this is what you don't get taught about. They don't tell you. But the reality is, what they take off you, what you're left with, then has to work even harder to get back to where you started. Again, another reason why a lot of people don't want to do this. We get it. So look, the target is 66,000, not 40,000, not 40%. 66%, not 40%. Yeah. So let's take one example. If you just held gold with your 90,000 and see what happened. Well, we're using the same figures over the last 3 years that we did when Charlie asked us. We know what that looks like. It's a compound return over 3 years of just under 30%. Okay, so remember the target is 66%. So at this point, you would have an end value of 116, nearly 117,000. You've waited 3 years to do it. You're still off your 150,000 start point. Remember, this is all just to get you back to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
With the performance of gold, that's one thing, that's one element. With switching, that's another element. Think of it like this. Let's imagine you're trying to lose some weight and you say, I'm going to eat less, I'm going to consume less. That's one element to get you to your target. If you say I'm going to eat less and I'm going to exercise, so your productivity, your kind of output increases, that's two elements helping you reach your target. Well, this is how we see the growth of metals and switching. Two elements that are helping you reach your target. So if you take the same 90,000 and you switch, and we took the same switching values that we did in the last presentation, because the numbers are still the same. We know this has actually happened. It's not guesswork.
It's fact, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all happened. Then over the same 3 years, buying gold, having the performance of the gold and the switching together, in that 3 years, you could gain 72%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this paints a whole nother picture, because for someone that were looking to take their pension out, their retirement funds out, be taxed 40%, and then in 3 years be back, well, a little bit more than where they started, and own it and control it and be able to do what they want with it, to be able to draw on it when they want, and have complete control of their personal financial economy in 3 years, we think this becomes way more attractive than before. So just to break down what that switching would look like, we took the example of 75 to 90. And just to say, the ratio today, as we're recording this, is about 91. And that is a massive opportunity. We've looked back through history, and when the ratio has been over 90, it quite quickly moves down. So anyone, well, for us, let's just say this, for us, if we hold any gold today, we'd definitely be switching it to silver or buying more silver, because the ratio massively, massively favors silver. And in a relatively short period of time, you'll be left with more gold than you started with. So this is what we're doing. And this shows you over 3 years how you can make 72%. So yeah, it becomes interesting and a possibility for some people. It's going to take work. It's going to take you finding out about your retirement, how, pension, what it's in, how you can get it out. It's probably not going to be something you can do overnight, but it's possible. And if those threats of central bank digital currencies, bail-ins, bailouts, compliance, and all the other things that are a real threat worry you, then this might be a good solution. Up to you to decide.
Adam and James, one thing that actually plays towards that, if the 150,000 was left in the bank for the 3 years, that's a 10% inflation. So actually, the person doesn't have 150,000 in the bank in buying power. That buying power will have reduced 10% every year. So in actual fact, the calculation that you've done would actually be even more advantageous to someone going to gold.
Yeah, definitely. We've been kind to the banks. We like to throw them a bone every now and again.
I don't know why we're being kind to the banks, but
yeah. It's just to give people an idea. But you're totally right, Simon. There's other factors at play. But all things being equal, just looking at the numbers, things are never equal. But this is the situation that could play out, and we don't know what the next 3 years is going to play out. Maybe it doesn't happen exactly like the previous 3 years, but at least there's an option. I think the worst feeling that you can have is helplessness, that there is no option. And
this has come from our customers, just to explain, guys. This has come from our customers, because we've had so many customers very frustrated that, like we said before, US citizens have got it sorted. It's all done for them. It's very straightforward, and it's easy. But it seems in the UK and many other countries, everyone else, it's very difficult. You can do it, but you have to set up a SIP in the UK and things like that, or you can send it to other pension funds where you can purchase metals. But a guy called Mark, obviously I won't say his full name, but this idea came from one of our customers called Mark, And he said he was taking his money out, and that's what he's doing. That is it. You know, he's had enough. He doesn't trust the system. He's having it. He's taking it out. He's taking the 40% hit or whatever he's taking, and he's just going to take it. He's you know, and that's what brought. This is what gave us this idea of. I wonder how long it would take to get our money back. This is where it all came from. Yeah. And I spoke to another customer where he's moved his pension in the past, and he's moved it, so he's invested in precious metals. And he said, "Oh, it's okay because I've done that." And I went, "Yes, it's definitely better than where it was because it wasn't invested in metals." But I also brought up the fact that you can only invest in gold. You can't invest in silver, which means you can't switch and you can't do all the other things that we can do. You know, he's still having his strings pulled, isn't he? He's still under control of the system. The system's still got control over you.
Yeah.
Yes, a SIP is better than where it was before because he has got a little bit more control, and is invested in metals. But like I said, it's only gold. You can't switch. You can't benefit the way we do. You know, so
yeah,
it's just trying to give people them options, isn't it? So now people straight away, all them people that have said in the past to us, "Oh, I'm so frustrated, I can't do anything, I'm stuck." Now it might be an option. We're not promoting this. We're not saying go out there and cash in your pension. It's the last thing we're saying. But we're saying, look, this is an option. This is something you could do, and it would only take 3 years. You know, if you go by these numbers. Does that make sense? I don't know, but
it does. Between now and next time we're on, I'm going to find out from my man here, Adrian, and ask him the question about if people were to become a resident here, would that stop them having to pay out 40% so they could take their money out and put it into this without losing it? I don't know, but I will ask that question. But this is an option if that is not available. But for anybody who knows me, for the last 20 to 30 years, if the answer's no, people have come to me. That's been my job for 30 years. When people can't find a solution, I find solutions because there is always a solution out there. And there's always a way of doing it within the constraints of the law, so that you're not going outside of the law to do something. But when you look at it where you've paid your taxes all your life, and again, look, we haven't even covered the aspect that when you die, they want your death duty as well.
Sure.
It's taxed. It's not even taxed until you're dead. You're taxed after you're dead as well. And what we're trying to do is extract people from the matrix so they can have a better quality of life and get out of the system of slavery and be able to enjoy their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. You know,
this is just getting you back to where you were, which you could say, well, is that a good option? Well, we think it's pretty good because you own and control what was 100% of it now. The next step, let's say you've now taken this value that's grown 70 odd percent. We know that happened in the last 3 years. And over the next 3 years, let's say there's a growth of only 50% because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But let's just say. Then at the end of that, you could have full control, full ownership. You can do what you want with it. And it could have grown to even more than it was before. And I think with that, let's take a 6-year period. If let's say someone's got 10 years left before they were to retire and they knew, let's say 6 years, let's say it took 10 years for this whole process, be really conservative about the whole thing. And you could be in a better place and own and control the whole thing. It starts to become interesting and it starts to become viable for people. So that's why we wanted to put it together. Something that we didn't think was an option, 40%, how do you tackle that? To something that might be for the right people. Pensions are complicated. They're complicated for a reason. They're you know, give us your money, we'll invest it. It's too complicated. We'll look after it better than you will. And that's why they keep you in the dark. So it's going to take some effort and some finding out what your pension's in, how you get hold of it. But at least you know there's an option at the other side where you can win. And that's what we really want to do. We want to empower people to win.
Me personally, Adam, Simon and Charlie, this is just me personally. If I was to lose 40%, I personally would still do it. because I know how to invest it just from experience and through all the many years. I know I could soon make that back. But the average family member, the average person, has never been taught this stuff.
Never.
So this to us is a game changer again. I know we've said it a million times. It's a game changer, but it is. You know, the switching side of what we do is just it's sped everything up, hasn't it? You're not just holding metals anymore. If you switch at the right points, the way we teach you, then you can speed the growth up, can't you, of your metals?
Yeah.
And it is possible now. Somebody could actually do. They could take back control of the pensions and not just leave it where they are, and not just. They could get rid of the ropes and untie themselves.
I remember in my first school as a young kid, being taught that slavery was guys picking cotton or children being sent up chimneys, and that was what we were taught was slavery. What we were not taught was the clever way that was moved into being a paid slave. So everyone's
rebranded it, Simon, haven't they?
Yeah. Everyone's got this vision that slavery is doing something for nothing. So they're being paid. So I'm not a slave because I'm being paid. They've been so hoodwinked. And what this episode of our wonderful video series has done is actually show how the system just keeps taking money from the same pot that people have worked all their damn lives for. So this pot gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and these people get richer and richer up the top. Yeah. And if this isn't a wake-up call to try and do something to get out of it, well, I don't know what else. I mean, we could dress up as clowns and stand on the corner, but this is better because it's actually showing the money that's been taken away from people.
They've gaslighted us, haven't they, Simon? Because we got 4 white guys here, and they go, "Oh no, it's only the black people that are slaves."
Oh, yeah,
they've gaslighted us into believing that it's only this group of people that are slaves. And you know, look over there. Look at what's happening to them. No, it's happening to us. It's happening to all of us. We're just being completely gaslighted by them. And not realizing that we're trapped in this slave system. Well, a lot of people are. I extracted myself in 1983, and I've stayed well clear of it for 40 years, thank God. That's why I can talk about it today. This isn't advice. This is just a life lesson that I've learned.
Yeah, and one thing with metals, at least, it's just so easy to do, really. It's not. Yeah, especially with our help, because we're cutting the corners for you. You know, we've had all the experiences, and we've done the things wrong that we shouldn't have done early on. We can show you what not to do, can't we, Adam? And then we can show you what best to do going forward. And our motto has always been from day one: what's best for you, not for us. It's what's best for you. You know, that person who comes to us. And if that's not buy metals through our guys, it's not through our guys. It's through somebody else, or it's do whatever. Most of the time, you know, what we do, if it's 98% of the people that come to us, Adam, I think, doesn't it? It fits most people. So. But if we feel that what we do doesn't fit them in their situation right now, we'll tell them. We'll tell them. It's probably not a good idea to buy metals just now. You might be better off doing this or doing that, or you might be better off buying it from these guys over here. You know, so it just depends on their situation. That's why we speak to people. You know, if they want to speak to us, some people don't want to speak to us, but I don't know why.
That's fine.
But, who would never want to speak to you?
The bank manager.
Maybe some people.
That's why we get excited at them, isn't it? Because we just love the customers are lovely. We have so many lovely customers. You know, we get a massive buzz when we've helped somebody, and we're helping them. I'm helping people to switch every day now, just about, and showing them how to switch between the metals and making sure they're getting it right, and they're getting more metals, and they're just so excited, and they feel they're achieving something, and it's nice. It's really nice.
That's why as well we have energy about and enthusiasm about this because we get sent emails probably every day from people saying, "What do I do with my pension? What can I do with my pension?" And it's really difficult because we didn't have a viable solution, and it pains us that we can't help people. So we thought, right, this now gives us a potential option, and if that's all we've got for now, then great. At least it's something that people can look into, and it will help some people. So as soon as we have another solution or an add-on or an upgrade or whatever, we'll tell you as well.
Well, guys, thank you very, very much, because that was so informative. And this is just, I'm not going to be rude by saying this, but this is just basic common sense that we used to know in the UK. We used to know this sort of stuff, because if you look back to I've mentioned it before, the 60s and the 70s, especially in East London, people used to have charm bracelets with gold on, and they were very common things. My wife is Turkish, and they still gift each other gold on birthdays and anniversaries and what have you. And we just need to get back to where we were at, and we'll do everything we possibly can to try and get people in a position where they're in control of their destiny, and that their destiny is secure. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
When you start providing security for your family, where you are responsible, it's such an amazing feeling, especially as a man, to feel empowered that you can actually look after your family. You're not dependent on a bank. You're not dependent on the system. But you suddenly realize that, I tell you what, it really does. It makes you feel a real man when you know that you're responsible and you can be responsible.
You're not reliant on anybody else. That's the key, isn't it? Not being reliant on the system, on the government.
Sure.
It's a complete opposite to that.
Well, guys, thank you so much again. It's great to see you all. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, James.
It's always great speaking to you.
Yeah.
Hey, take care, guys.
Speak soon. Cheers.
Cheers.